Hi everyone, so this is going to be the hair tutorial for Tiny Troops and Thunderbirds. So we are going to do some French braid pigtails instead, and then at the very bottom we're going to do a little bun with their bow. So I already did one side on her hair, so I'm doing the other side. For anyone that has never French braided before, please send me a message so that I can help you or make a plan to come and do your child's braids, because they can sleep in those as long as they are completely hairsprayed down or gelled. For this tutorial, I did not put gel in her hair, and I did not really hairspray the top of it. When you do it for competition, I would definitely either put some gel in it before you braid it, or try to braid it wet so that it really stays in there, and then you can spray it over that. Basically, I'm just going to go all the way down to the bottom of her head in a French braid, and I'm doing it as tight as I possibly can. This video is sped up, so I am not actually braiding that fast, although I wish it was. For this next part, I went ahead and did the little buns at the bottom. All I did was make a loop and then tie a small hair tie around it. Because she had a lot of hair left, I went ahead and wrapped that around the middle of the loop and then secured that with a hair tie. If your child has thick hair, I would highly suggest using the bigger, thicker hair ties instead of the small elastic bands, just to make sure that her hair stays. And then as soon as I got done with that, I went ahead and put this regular clip bow in, since we did not have their competition bows yet. And then after that, I went ahead and curled the top part of her hair just so it kind of flips over the bow a little bit more. Because the only curling iron I had was a thicker one, the little flippies didn't look quite right. But if you use a smaller wand or a smaller curling iron, it should be fine. And then if you notice on her bun that she has some wispies that are hanging out, that's perfectly fine. The judges are not really going to notice that. I'm just more concerned with the top of her head falling out. So as long as that's hairsprayed, you are fine. This is the hair tutorial for Nighthawks and Generals athletes. So what I'm doing first is I am hairspraying all of her hair, since her hair is very fine, and then I will brush all that out and then we'll start curling it. If your kids have very fine hair, I highly suggest using texture spray as well as hairspray, just to make sure that they stay. I am doing all of the curls first around her head, just so that I don't have to do as much work later. I am going to have to recurl later, but I'm just doing this to kind of help. It also helps give a little bit of volume when you put it up. So after that, I went ahead and put her hair all up in a high ponytail, and I made it pretty close to the top of her head. I think it's about 3 fingers back. And then after that, I went through and I sprayed around her head and brushed all of her hair up so that all of her baby hairs were stuck to her head. After that, I went ahead and put her hair bow in, and then we're going to secure her bow to the top of her head. To do this, I went ahead and took 2 bobby pins and I placed one through the center of her bow and then the other side through her hair. And then I went to the other side and did the exact same thing. This creates more of like a barrette effect, where it just kind of pins the top of the bow to the top of their head, and then their bow isn't flopping around or doesn't fly backwards, it stays in place. After that, I went ahead and started teasing her hair. So because she doesn't have a whole lot of hair and her hair is very fine, I went ahead and did a little section on the bottom where I created what kind of looks like a rat's nest, I guess. And it just kind of helped push up the rest of her hair. So I sprayed both sides with hairspray. And then I went ahead and started teasing both the bottom and the top side of it. Once I get done with that, it is going to create kind of like a little bubble, and I'm going to pin that up just to kind of help push up all of the rest of her hair. Um, I would honestly, because her hair is so fine, I would have probably teased it a little bit more competition day as opposed to what I did here. If their hair is thick, their hair is probably going to hold a tease really well. This is also the point where you should probably put texture spray in between the sections before you do the hairspray. That way it just kind of helps give it something to hold as you're teasing it. So here's the little bun thing that I created. I just teased her hair, then I pushed it all up into a little bun, pinned it in, and then I got to work on the rest of the sections. So I just go in very thin layers and I pull them apart, and then I tease the bottom and the top. And after I pull the section, I will hairspray or texture spray in between each section just so it has something to hold on to, and then I will start teasing. After I start teasing, I will then pull apart that section and just kind of spread it out so that it covers more of the back of her head. And then I will move on to the next section. And I usually will do about 2 or 3 sections, and then I will go back and curl the bottom ends of her hair just so that it has a little bit more curl on the bottom of it. And you'll see that here in just a second. So here is another view. I have just completed a couple of the sections, and then I'm going back and I'm just recurling some of the bottoms. I should have used a smaller curling iron on her hair, but that was all I had in my house in stock. So that's what we used. And then I sprayed it down, went on to the next section. So then I'm just going to tease both sides again as much as I can, and then space it out. And then I do try to brush the top of it down if it looks really crazy, just to kind of make it look a little bit prettier. For this last layer, I am only going to tease the bottom side and not the top. That way I can use that to kind of cover all of the teasing underneath her hair. So I'm going to tease the bottom, and then I'm going to brush it out just a little bit after I spread it out. And then right here is where I'm really going to actually brush and try to make it look a lot smoother and a lot prettier, just so that you can't see as much of the tease throughout. Now, because she doesn't have a whole lot of hair, it was a little bit more difficult, so it does look like I'm brushing a lot. But I'm not like actually pushing down. I'm just being very gentle, and I'm just trying to brush the top part of it. And then I'm going to go back and recurl all of the bottoms from the last couple sections that I did, just to give it a little bit more oomph and some more curl and make it look a little prettier. And then here is our final look.